You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife, calling a truce and returning to the royal family. You heard it here first. According to Yahoo Entertainment, utilizing something from In Touch, we're headlined with Prince Harry and Harry's wife thinking of returning to royal family, calling a truce. Flashing big smiles as they held hands, Prince Harry and Harry's wife looked like they didn't have a care in the world as they left an office in Santa Barbara on June 30th. The pair had just lost their 20 million Spotify deal, bit careless, and they were evicted from Frogmore Cottage, bit useless. Yet they didn't seem fazed by anything, says an eyewitness. It was business as usual. Not quite. Behind closed doors, sources tell In Touch, whatever that is, Harry, 38, is panicking over money and his and Harry's wife's future in America. Obviously, Megxit has blown up in their faces, says an insider. Harry is starting to wonder if they made the right decision leaving England. He's even suggested to Harry's wife that they return to London and the royal family. Harry's wife was livid, says the insider, who adds that the Duchess, 41, was even more taken aback when she learned Harry had already reached out to his estranged brother, William, also 41. Harry admitted he'd phoned William to call a truce and told his brother he and Harry's wife would be open to going back to London, where they would serve King Charles. Pausing there. As always, I leave it up to you to determine the veracity of this material. But assuming that was correct, and I really don't think that it is, but if it is, Harry's wife, would she do this? Well, first of all, she would utilize Harry as the olive branch, that she would hoover by proxy by trying to get him to contact the royal family to see how the land lies about a return. Her narcissism would still make her wary, but notice that most of you listening would think to yourselves, the cheek of the woman, the brass neck, there's absolutely no way she could go back after what she's done. But of course, demonstrating the usual sense of entitlement, lack of accountability, and compartmentalization of the narcissist, she doesn't see that there's anything wrong with her asking. Yes, the way that her narcissism works, it causes her to be wary that there might be rejection, but it causes her to ask the question in the first place, namely, we're open to coming back. And thus, this hoover by proxy, which is issued by Harry's wife, enables her, or rather her narcissism, to determine what's the response to it. So they don't go so far as to hoover by getting on a plane and flying to London and going, yoo-hoo, we've come to stay forever. No. Instead, her narcissism compels her to assert control through Harry. Harry, of course, the stooge that he is, always does what she wants. The fact, however, to suggest that she would be livid, well, she would be the one that would orchestrate it in the first place. But of course, it might be played, if this were true, to the outside world that she was livid, because of course she wants to maintain the position that she's hard done to by the royal family, and therefore why would she ever want to be with them again? And look at Harry, he's gone rogue again, doing things of his own volition that he should not be doing. Naughty Harry, get down Harry, and slapping him back into place. According to In Touch, William was stunned by the call. The brothers have been on increasingly bad terms since Megxit, and revelations made by Harry in his memoir, Spare, divided them further. Among other allegations in the book, Harry claims William physically attacked him in 2019 during an argument in which William allegedly called Harry's wife rude, difficult, and abrasive. Apparently, this was when Harry said, "Oh, you've gone and broke my bracelet!" Or, "No, you've gone and broke my necklace!" William didn't quite know what to say, says the insider, noting that the future king told Harry, think about the offer. Harry feels as though he and Harry's wife are running out of options, says the insider. Despite the success of Spare and their well-received shitflix docuseries Harry and Harry's Wife, the parents of Archie 4 and Lilibet 2 are quickly losing favour in Hollywood, not to mention opportunities to make money. Shortly after the Spotify announcement was made, the company's head of podcast innovation and monetization, Bill Simmons, blasted the couple, calling them grifters. On his podcast, Jeremy Zimmer said Harry's wife was not a great audio talent, not necessarily any kind of talent. The Sussexes may have no choice but to return to the United Kingdom, where they can enjoy other perks. Harry needs a plan B, says the insider, adding that the royal family would likely take him and Harry's wife back. Even in light of everything that's happened, how would it look if Charles said no? Well, I don't think those people necessarily understand the way that King Charles would function. On the one hand, it would manage his facade to show him as being kind and forgiving. It would also enable him to have more contact with his son and his grandchildren. But the problem is that whilst the king might be moved to do that as a consequence of how it suits his narcissism, you just know that William will not go along with it, Sophie will not go along with it, Catherine will not go along with it, Mike Tyndall will say, "You can fuck that sky high," and it would cause more problems than it would solve. So remember, from the king's perspective with his narcissism needs to ensure that he asserts control, not just over Harry and Harry's wife, but everybody else. So his narcissism isn't going to lead him down a road of saying, right, I'll welcome those two back into the fold. Oh, shit. Now everybody else has kicked off. His narcissism looks to keep all of the plates spinning at once. And the easiest way for King Charles to do that is to continue to interact with those people that have been loyal with him, William and Catherine, his siblings, and to keep Harry and Harry's wife at arm's length by controlling them by staying in a position of withdrawal. And most people would accept that. Most people would say, you're not cruel or cold for saying, fuck off, we don't want you back. I would say the same to them after the way that they've behaved. Let's see if this is a similar sentiment below the line. Beau writes he might stand a chance of being accepted, but Harry's wife, on the other hand, I don't see her ever being accepted into the family again. Ashley points out that there is a plan C. Harry and Harry's wife get out of the public eye, scale back their lifestyle, live off the money Harry's mum left him and the money he was made dumping on his family. It would be an aimless but still comfortable existence, much like the Duke of Windsor and Wallis Simpson led. But at least he wouldn't have to live on his father's terms after eating an entire flock of crows. His wife also might leave him, but she might do that anyway. Well, indeed, that is what is likely to happen, as I've explained, that she will disengage from him. Andrew, they probably wish they could, but I don't see it happening. They could have had a brilliant future, but instead they chose pettiness. Chris, I doubt any of this is true. No way can the royal family ever trust those two again. That bridge has been burned to the ground. D, probably running out of money or don't like to live like common folk. I'm sure reality is disappointing to Harry, especially because he's no longer seen as royalty that he's been accustomed to his entire life. He's an average Joe, and it's not nearly as glamorous as the life of a prince. JFK, I hope they say, Harry's wife can't return, but you and the kids sure, just sign this NDA. I guess Harry took the training wheels off a little too early. I think ultimately, Harry would be welcomed back into the royal family for reasons that I've mentioned previously, but she won't. And therein lies the dilemma. If they both approach, the answer will be no. But when she disengages from him and he approaches solely, the answer will be yes. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.